Hello everyone, welcome back to Exam Decoder. If you are preparing for UPSC Prelims 2025, you know how important the environmental paper is. In this video, I have tried to cover the key points from the PT365 of the Environmental Science module. In this module, it is given the current affairs from the April 2024 to October 2024. Of course, in the upcoming videos, I will add the updates. I have also tried to add UPSC previous year questions. Now let's start with the discussion of the topics without wasting time. Let's start with the list of topics. In the list of topics, they have divided the environmental science module in the 9 different headings. The first heading is about the biodiversity. Second is about the climate change. In this climate change, UNFCCC, this topic will be discussed. Next is pollution. Fourth topic is about the sustainable development. Fifth is about the disaster management. Sixth is the geography. They used to add a geography topic. Next, seventh topic is the places in news. The seventh, eighth and ninth topic, these are the small topics, that is places in news, protected areas in news and species in news. These are small topics. This has covered the recent developments. I have already told you the first topic is the biodiversity. We'll start with this. In biodiversity also, they have divided into the 4 different areas, that is wildlife and conservation. Second is about the forests. Third is wetland, coastland and oceans. Next is organizations in news. I will start with the biodiversity, wildlife and conservation. In this video, I will try to cover till this 16 pages, that is wildlife and conservation. Let's start with the first topic, that is red list of the threatened species. Let's start the first topic, that is biodiversity. Under the biodiversity, the first topic covered is wildlife and conservation. Under the wildlife and conservation, the first topic here is the red list of the threatened species. Under this red list of threatened species, we can see it is in the news given. Recently, IUCN updated its red list for the threatened species. So, who published this red list of the threatened species is by IUCN. IUCN is the International Union for Conservation of Nature, having headquarters in the Switzerland. Let's see in detail what about the red list of the threatened species. It is written like provides information about animal, plant and the fungus species. You need to remember these 3. Like it can be asked question in UPSC, like for which of the following the red list is generated, for plant species, for animal species or for the fungus. This is all of the above, that is animal, plant and fungus species. Generally we used to confuse in this fungus. Of course fungus is also included, which are at risk of the extinction into the 9 categories. 9 different categories are mentioned for this. This is categories under the IUCN red list. Don't need to remember this. I have added some points. There are some key updates. Species with changed status, like there are some species given. You don't need to remember all of this. Try to just look into these 3 what I have already underlined, that is Copia poa cacai. Updated status is 82% of species at the risk of extinction. This is ornamental cacti endemic to the Atacama coastal desert in Chile. Next is Gran Canaria giant lizard. This is critically endangered, previously least concern, means it is converted from least concern to critically endangered. Endemic reptile in the Canary Island, that is in Spain. Next is Bornean elephant. This is updated status is endangered. A small elephant with wider face found in Borneo and the Sumatra Island. Just look into these 3. Don't need to go in detail. Okay, I have already told you, like I have discussed this IUCN list here. This, just see, IUCN red list categories indicates how a species is to becoming extinct. The 9 red list categories are shown below. These are the 9 red list. We don't need to go into detail of the not evaluated. It simply means the first category here is not evaluated. It simply means the species are not evaluated, means we don't think it is required to evaluate, so we have not evaluated that. Second is data deficient. Data deficient, it means we don't have inadequate information to make the direct or indirect assessment of the risk. So this comes in the data deficient. Next is least concern, near threatened. Third is least concerned, and fourth is near threatened. Actually, you need to remember these three specifically like threatened categories. This question can be asked, which of the following category comes under the threatened category? That is, first is critically endangered, endangered and vulnerable. Vulnerable is 5th point, endangered is 6th, and critically endangered is 7th. So you need to remember which comes in the threatened species, that is vulnerable, endangered and critically endangered. Next, 8th is extinct and wild. It means only they are surviving in the captive state. Next, 9th category is extinct, means no species are found currently. Here, two important words you must remember. First is the pink pages. These words are not given in PT365, but it is important. First is pink pages. Pink pages, actually in this publication of IUCN, there is something mentioned like pink pages, which actually include the critically endangered species. Pink pages include the critically endangered species. So remember, pink pages, what is pink pages? Which include the critically endangered species. For critically endangered, there are three different criteria. How can you put a species in the critically endangered? First is about reduction of the population by 90% in last 10 years. Reduction of the population by 90% means only 10% are left in last 10 years. Okay, this is the first criteria. The second criteria is that for making it critically endangered, that this is actually the lenient. Second criteria is actually the lenient criteria, that population size less than the 50 mature species. 50 mature species are left. In that case, it can be kept under the critically endangered. It is written like 50 mature, but it is not a strict criteria, even though it is possible that 100 species are there and they are coming in the critically endangered. It can be, means it is a bit lenient. Third factor for making it critically endangered, probability of extinction in wild at least 50% in 10 years. Means in the coming 10 years, the 50% will be eliminated. So these three criterias are considered for the critically endangered. I hope you understand. The first word important here is the pink pages. You should remember. The second important word here is the green pages. This is green pages. What is actually green pages? See, those species that were formerly in the endangered, but they have recovered and are no longer threatened. So, which are endangered, earlier endangered, but currently they are not threatened. So that is called the green pages. This is also an important one. Pink pages means critically endangered species. Green pages, which has recovered, means came from the endangered to threatened, then it is called green pages. Moving next to Sustainable Finance for Tiger Landscapes Conference. This was in news because Sustainable Finance for Tiger Landscape Conference was hosted by Bhutan government and supported by Tiger Conservation Coalition, that is TCC. What is this SFTLC, that is Sustainable Finance for Tiger Landscape Conference? It seeks to increase the support for the tiger protection and its landscape by using new financial strategies and the global partnership as stated in the Paro statement. Where is this Paro? Paro is in the Bhutan. Paro is in the Bhutan. So this conference held in Bhutan. So name is given as Paro statement. It seeks to mobilize US $1 billion in additional funding by 2034. Second point is about TCC, that is Tiger Conservation Coalition. It is actually an independent group of organization. No need to go in detail. Next is Sustainable Finance Initiative launched in SFTLC, that is Sustainable Finance for Tiger Landscape Conference. This is Tiger Landscape Investment Fund. You just need to remember Tiger Landscape Investment Fund. It was presented by UNDP, nothing more. This uses nature positive business approach. Next is about the tiger bonds. This tiger bond is also important, that by Asian Development Bank to engage private sector investment. Means what is the purpose of this tiger bond? It is to engage the private sector investors and initiated by this Asian Development Bank. So these points are just you should know. Next is about the Indian tiger. So it is given about the habitat. Actually, this habitat is given is not correct because the heading is about the Indian tiger, and Indian tiger is actually found in the India, Nepal, Bhutan, and Bangladesh. Not in this Russia and this, because in this Russia there is Siberian tiger and it is heading like the Indian tiger. So it is given correct, like habitat for the tiger is correct, but here it is, if it is heading like Indian tiger, then it is not correct. The habitat for tiger, then it is correct that Bangladesh, Bhutan, Cambodia, China, India. You don't need to remember all these points. Okay. In India, if you will see the Shivalik Gangetic Plains, central India and the eastern Ganga, western Ghats, northeastern hills and Brahmaputra flood plains, Sundarbans, these are the areas of the India where this Indian tiger are found. Next is about the distribution. Maximum is found in the Madhya Pradesh, followed by Karnataka and Uttarakhand. This is important point. You should remember the maximum number of tiger is found in the Madhya Pradesh, then in the Karnataka, and then in the Uttarakhand. Okay. Let's see some characteristics are mentioned here. First is the flagship species of India. What is flagship species? Actually, flagship species, you can say it is the symbol for the conservation efforts because they are like culturally significant and also plays a crucial role in the ecosystem. Means these species also raise the awareness and funds for the biodiversity conservation. Actually, there are many species comes in this category of this flagship species. Like, of course, this tiger is given. Next, Asian elephant, you can say. One horn rhino is also there. A snow leopard, gangetic dolphins, and many others. Next, it is written like umbrella species. New terms are given like umbrella species. What are umbrella species then? Umbrella, you can understand, means different fields can be covered under the umbrella. Actually, these are called umbrella species because conservation of these species indirectly protects many other species in the same habitat. Actually, by ensuring their survival, entire ecosystem can be benefited because they require large area. Next, coming to the solitary, mostly nocturnal, means they hunt in night, and territorial animal. Territory means they have defined territory. Territory of an adult male may encompasses territories of 2 to 7 females. Means if there is one male, then there is 2 to 7 females are there in its territory. So you can say like tiger is following this polygamy. Okay. Next is tiger strips are individually as unique as human fingerprints. Means different tigers strip are different. So like in humans, the fingerprint can be used as the identity. Same with the tiger. Means tiger strips can be used to identify the one tiger from the other. Here threats are mentioned. Habitat loss of prey species, hunting, poaching, illegal trade, conflict with the humans. These are not important. These are the common points. Next, there is about the conservation efforts. First is about the Project Tiger 1973. This was actually the centrally sponsored scheme and in situ conservation. Okay, we will see in detail. Like first let's see some facts. The number of tigers in India has increased by 6.74% from 2,967 in 2018 to 3,167 in 2022, according to the figures of 5th cycle of Indian tiger census. Here you need to remember 2 points, like the percentage increase is approximately 7%, first thing, and this is the 5th cycle of Indian tiger census. These 2 points are important here. And what is actually Project Tiger? Project Tiger was launched by the central government on April 1st, 1973. This point is important. Means Project Tiger is launched in 1973 in a bid to promote conservation of tiger. The program came at a time when the Indian tiger population was rapidly dwindling. According to the report, While there were 40,000 tigers in the country at the time of independence, they were soon reduced to below 2,000 in 1970 due to their widespread hunting and poaching. Today, there are 54 tiger reserves across India, spanning 75,000 square kilometers. As mentioned before, the current population of the tiger in the country stands 3,167 as opposed to 1,411 in the 2006-17. These data are not important. You need to remember 2-3 points here. How many tiger reserves are there? 54. How much area it is covering? This is approximately 75,000, and current population is approximately 3,167, and it has shown the 7% increase in last 4 years, and this census was of 5th India's tiger census. Next, coming back. Next is NTCA, that is National Tiger Conservation Authority, a statutory body constituted under Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, amended in 2006 to administer Project Tiger. So, which is looking after this Project Tiger? This is National Tiger Conservation Authority. Tiger is also regarded as national animal of India. There is no national language, but national animal is there, that is tiger. Next is M-Strip. I hope you know about the M-Strip. This is the digital monitoring system. Okay. There is also a question asked about the M-Strip in UPSC. Next is Global Tiger Initiative. This is actually World Bank's initiative. Global Tiger Forum is there, international intergovernmental bodies, and other means efforts for the conservation are Conservation Assured Tiger Stands, World Wildlife Fund Tigers Alive Initiative, etc. Not too important. Here it is done good thing, like it is added in the note that amendment made under the Wildlife Protection Amendment Act 2022. All species that are covered under the appendices of CITES are now listed under the Schedule 4 of the Act. What is CITES here? CITES is actually Conservation on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Flora and Fauna. So, it is actually the agreement between the government to regulate or the ban international trade of endangered species. So, all these came under this Wildlife Protection Amendment Act. Let's looking into the question. This is question number 3. I have already given 2 questions earlier. The term M-Strips is sometimes seen in news in the context of, check the options and answer in the comment box. Next is about the tiger landscape. What is tiger landscape? It includes the large blocks of ecologically connected area of suitable tiger habitat. Currently, they comprise less than the 8% of area originally occupied in Asia. What it means it has reduced by 92%. Means tiger landscape area has reduced by 92%, and currently only 8% area is occupied in this Asia. And next is landscapes in India. This is Shivalik Hills, Gangetic Plain, Northeast Hills and Brahmaputra flood plains, Sundarban landscape, Central India, Eastern Ghat and Western Ghat landscape. Next is International Big Cat Alliance. This is in news because Union Cabinet has approved the proposal of India to become a member of IBCA, that is International Big Cat Alliance, by signing and ratification of the framework agreement. What is about this? This is launched by India on 50th year of India's Project Tiger in 2023. Actually, you all know the Project Tiger was launched in the 1973. So, this is the 50th year. 2023 is the 50th year on this International Big Cat Alliance was launched. Apart from India, Nicaragua is Central American country. Next is Eswatini. Eswatini, actually you may not heard about this Eswatini. Eswatini is actually Swaziland, you know, or Kingdom of Swaziland. This is landlocked country in the South Africa. Next is Somalia. Somalia is actually East African country. Have also joined this. You should know these countries' names and details a bit detail. Next is, what is the aim of this International Big Cat Alliance? The aim here is strengthen global cooperation for the conservation of 7 big cat species. These are tiger, lion, leopard, snow leopard, cheetah, jaguar and puma. This jaguar and puma are not found in India and their habitats. India inhabits all cats except puma and jaguar. Except puma and jaguar, India has all, means this big cats. Out of 7 we have 5. Next it is multi-country and the multi-agency coalition. Participants consist of 95 big cat ranges countries, non-range countries interested in big cat conservation, conservation partners and related scientific organization. All UN member, actually it has allowed every country and every organization, actually main aim is to increase the fund. Okay, more countries will participate, then more fund will be generated. Next is conservation status of big cats in India. IUCN status. You need to remember this list, that tiger is endangered, tiger is endangered, others are vulnerable, because you will confuse in lion, cheetah, snow leopard and leopard. This comes in the vulnerable. What is this? Near threatened. Jaguar is not found in India, even though it is written near threatened. No use of this. And least concern, because we don't have puma, so it is least concern for us. All 5 big cats in India are listed in Schedule 1 and 4 of the Wildlife Protection Act of CITES Appendix. We have already discussed about the CITES. Next is about the elephant census of 2023. Synchronized elephant population census 2023 has been done in the southern states. Key findings. First is the Karnataka tops. At least you should remember the first state, that is Karnataka tops among the southern states with over 6,000 elephants. Not only in the southern states, all over the India, Karnataka tops having the 6,000 elephants. Second is about the high death rate of 40% among juvenile elephants, that is age 10 and below, attributed to elephant endotheliotropic herpes virus, EEHVS. This is important, actually it was made news. Next is Indian elephant. What is its name? That is Elephas maximus. Protection status, habitat, everything is given. Just a fast look into this. This is found in the central and the southern western Ghats, northeastern India, eastern India, northern India, and in some parts of the southern peninsular India. India is home to over 60% of the world's elephant population. This is not a correct statement, absolutely not correct. This is actually India is home to over 60% of the world's Asiatic elephant, Asiatic या फिर Asian elephant population. Okay, highest population is in, of course we have seen, that is Karnataka, followed by Assam and Kerala. Kumki elephant, this name you should remember, this is Kumki elephant, term used in India for captive Asian elephants that are trained to be used in the operations to trap wild elephants. We all know that means elephants are also used in forest to trap the means wild animals and especially elephants. Next is given about some characteristic. Highly intelligent element. This is not going to ask. With the strong family bonds and sophisticated form of communication. One of the 3 subspecies of Asian elephants, the 2 of being Sumatra and Sri Lankan elephants, not important. Lifespan, you should remember, this is approximately 60 to 70 years. Gestation period is 20 to 22 months. That is largest gestation period of all the mammals. Leader of the elephant group is female. This is about gestation period and everything they have asked in the UPSC prelims 2020. I think I will show you the question in later slide. Next is threats. Threats is about the habitat fragmentation, degradation, expenses of agriculture and industry, human animal conflict. This is always in news. We have seen the cases of the Kerala also. Okay? Poaching. And next is the conservation measures. First is about the Project Elephant. This is launched in 1992. Project Tiger 1973. Project Elephant 1992. 33 elephant reserves with the 14 major elephant states. This is the difference given between the Asian elephants and the African elephants. You can see the difference from the photo itself. This is larger in size. See the ear of this. This is larger. This is a smaller. Okay. This as Asian elephants comes in the category of endangered. This is in the this African elephants kept in two categories. If it is savanna elephant, it is kept in endangered. If it is the forest elephant, that is kept in the critically endangered. This is about the size. Asian elephant and African elephant. As Asian elephants are smaller, whereas African elephants are larger. Not too important. The one important point here is about the tusk. Asian elephant, it is not necessary that all male Asian elephant have tusk. Only some male Asian elephants have tusk. Tusks are absent in females. This is the characteristic in the Asian. That some males, not all males. All is wrong. Only some males of the Asian elephant have tusk, and of course in female that is not present. Okay, this is in the Asian elephants. But in the African elephants, both male and the female African elephants grow tusk. This is the important point here, because it can be written male and female can be distinguished from the tusk. This statement will be wrong. Okay, and in Asian also you cannot distinguish male and female with this tusk, because not all Asian elephants have tusk. So this is important. Other points are not very important. Let's see one question. It is asked in UPSC 2020. The question is, with reference to Indian elephant, consider the following statement. First statement is, the leader of an elephant group is female. Actually, this is correct. This is like matriarchal society. The maximum gestation period can be 22 months. This is also correct, 22 months. An elephant can normally go on calving till the age of 40 years only. This statement is wrong. Actually, they can even go after the 60 years. Of course, the fertility rate will be less, but of course they can produce in the latter stage also. Among the states in India, highest elephant population is in Kerala. We have already seen the highest population is where it is written. First is Karnataka, second is Assam, then is Kerala. So statement 3 and 4 are wrong, and 1 and 2 is correct. Try to look into that question again. Next is State of Rhino Report 2024. This is International Rhino Foundation released State of Rhino 2024 report. Why it is news? Because initially the International Black Rhino Foundation in 1991 is declared to survival of world's rhino species. Black rhino we'll see later. What is the key findings of the reports? First is, with all 5 species combined, there are just 28,000 rhino left in the world. You don't need to remember 28,000. Okay, this is important. There are 5 species of rhino. Rhino poaching in Africa increased by 4%. Not important. Number of the white rhino increased, but great one rhino, that is Indian rhino, great one rhino, that is Indian rhino, remains the same. Okay, you should remember about rhino. 5 species of the rhino, that is 2 African, that is white rhino and black rhino. 2 African species, that is white rhino and black rhino, and 3 Asian, that is Indian rhino, Sumatran rhino and Javan rhino. Next is Rhino Conservation Initiative. National Rhino Conservation Strategy 2019 is conserved Indian rhino. New Delhi Declaration on Asian Rhino 2019. Indian Rhino Vision 2020, etc. Indian Rhino 2020, it was actually in the 2005, launched in 2005 to protect and increase the number of rhino in India. Okay, let's see the difference of the African rhino and the Asian rhino. White rhino is the second largest land mammals after the elephant. This is important point. You should remember, after elephant, which is the largest one, is the white rhino. Indian rhino is the largest of all Asian rhino species. Indian rhino is the largest of all Indian rhino species. Appearance and behavior, it is given. It is about the horn of the rhino is always important. So you should know 2 horn in Asian rhino, 2 horn is found in the Sumatran rhino, but 1 horn is found in Indian rhino as well as Javan rhino. So 1 horn is found in the Indian rhino and Javan rhino. This is important point you should know. This is fight with their horns. African rhino fight with their horns, whereas Asian rhino fight with their bottom teeth. You can remember Asian rhino is having generally 1 horn. Okay, India is having 1 rhino, home to the 1 horn rhino. So one horn, so less horn, so they can fight with the bottom teeth, whereas they have two horns, means African horns can fight with the horns. Okay, some more details are given here. This is about rhino, white rhino, black rhino. No need to remember all details. Just see this question. This question is asked in UPSC 2020. Just with one fact, how can you solve the question? I'm just telling you the elimination method by which you can solve this question. Like, see, consider the following statements. Asiatic lions is naturally found in India only. Double humped camel is naturally found in India only. One horn rhino is naturally found in India only. Let's see, this statement we know. One horn rhino is naturally found in India only. This statement is incorrect. Why? It is written here, one horn rhino is found in Indian rhino and Javan rhino. So this statement is wrong. Let's consider this statement 3 we know is wrong. Okay, so 1 2 3 is wrong. This is 1 and 3 is wrong. Let's see, now we have confusion in statement 1 or 2. Okay, double humped camel is naturally found in India only, whereas Asiatic lion is naturally found in India only. This is more common a statement. If you even don't know the second one, the first one is quite clear that Asiatic lion is found in India only. So answer will be this first one. And one more point you should remember, like rhino is found in which area, which national parks in the country. Actually, the most of the rhino is found in the Kaziranga National Park, that is in Assam. Second is Pobi Tora National Park. This is again in Assam. Next is Manas National Park. This is again in Assam. So these are important. Otherwise, this is also found in Orang National Park. That is in the Assam. Okay. In Dudhwa National Park also small amount, but very few are also found in this Dudhwa also. Okay. So you should remember all this national parks. Next is about the Great Indian Bustard. Why it is news. MOEFCC, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, approved funds for the next phase of 2024 to 2029 of the Bustard Recovery Program. Okay, it is important. Bustard met the news this year, so it is important for this year exam. Coverage of species, that is Great Indian Bustard and Lesser Florican. Two of the 4 bustard species. Other are Bengal Florican and McQueen Bustard. Background: first started in 2030, changed to the Bustard Recovery Project in 2016 and extended till 2033. Project implemented by Wildlife Institute of India. Funding agency, this is CAMPA, that is Compensatory Afforestation Fund Management and Planning Authority. Partner agency MOEFCC of this Rajasthan, Forest Department Gujarat and Maharashtra. Just you need to remember, like it can be asked that this Great Indian Bustard are only found in Rajasthan. Actually, the most of the Great Indian Bustard is found in Rajasthan. That is more than 95% of the Great Indian Bustard is found in the Rajasthan, but it is also found in the Gujarat and Maharashtra. What is the project objective? Project objective is conservative breeding, secure ex situ population. Next is applied research, capacity building, outreach, pilot implementation and surgical habitat management. These are the collaborative agencies, not required to remember everything. Okay, first here 2 species are given in detail, that is Lesser Florican and other is the Great Indian Bustard. Lesser Florican is the smallest bird of the bustard family. Okay, it comes in the critically endangered. This comes in the critically endangered. The habitat is Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh. Threatens is the pesticide use of the breeding grounds, mismanagement of agro grassland, etc. Okay, this is Lesser Florican. The more important, I think, for this year is the Great Indian Bustard. Actually, the Supreme Court decision has also came about this. First, look into this. This is the Great Indian Bustard. Habitat is endemic to Indian subcontinent, mostly in the Rajasthan and Gujarat. A small population is also found in the Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh. So this is mostly found in the Rajasthan and Gujarat. Conservation effort, key habitats as national park sanctuaries. Example: Desert National Park Rajasthan, Nalia Grassland, that is Lala Bustard Wildlife Sanctuary. Great Indian Bustard Conservation Breeding Centers in Rajasthan, artificial insemination at National Breeding Center in Jaisalmer, training of the personnel for the artificial breeding of the National Avian Research Center in the Abu Dhabi. If you want, you can just look into the informative type, not detail. Okay. Next is about the threats. First is the predation. Of course, predation is always the threat. Next is entanglement with the power lines. This is important. For this, the Supreme Court judgment has already came. This is the entanglement with the power line. Next is organophosphate fertilizer. Next is characteristic agro grassland omnivorous birds. These are generally omnivorous, lacking frontal vision. This is the main issue with this bird, like they lack the frontal vision, so they have poor frontal vision. That's why they collide with the wires. We will see in detail. Okay, males have gular pouch to fill air and exhale with the great humping sound to attract females. Males have played no role in incubation and care of young. You can see just once. This is important. This is important about the Great Indian Bustard. This first line is Supreme Court order on the ban on the power lines. As we have already seen that the Great Indian Bustard lacks frontal. They lack actually frontal vision. So they collide with this power lines and died. Recently, Supreme Court modifies its earlier order regarding restriction on setting up the overhead transmission lines. Actually, initially the Supreme Court has ordered like you cannot set up the overhead transmission lines. Later it is modified like means if you want to set up, you can go only through the underground way, but recently removed the blanket direction for the undergrounding high voltage and the low voltage power lines in the entire region. Now it depends. First it will verify if it is possible, it will go with the overhead, otherwise it should be the underground. Constituting an expert committee. For this, the Supreme Court has constituted an expert committee to determine the scope, feasibility and extent of overhead and underground electric lines in the area identified as priority areas. Okay. One question came in UPSC related to this in 2020. This is question number 6. I already told you, answer in the comment box for each and every question. With reference to India's desert national park, which of the following statement is correct? It is spread over 2 districts. There is no human habitation inside the park. It is one of the natural habitat of the Great Indian Bustard. Okay. First eliminate this. This is question point 2. There is no human habitation inside the park, because we have seen about the Supreme Court decision also. If you will eliminate this, option A will be wrong. Okay, option 2B will be wrong, option D will be wrong. Then what will be the answer? This is one of the simplest question. You can mark with the common sense also. There is no human habitation inside the park. Then what is the issue with this Great Indian Bustard? This is about the death and collision with the this lines. Okay, so this question can easily be solved. Next is about the crocodile conservation. As it was recently in news because crocodile conservation project completed its 50 years. 50 years means this is 1975. Crocodile conservation project in Odisha's Bhitarkanika National Park. This one is important. Bhitarkanika National Park. It was started from here. Crocodile conservation project was started from Bhitarkanika National Park in 1975 with the assistance of United National Development Program, that is UNDP, and UN Food and Agriculture Organization, that is FAO. So you need to remember crocodile conservation project was launched in assistance of this UNDP, that is United National Development Program, and second is about the UNFAO, United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization. Coming to the more detail about the Bhitarkanika National Park. Bhitarkanika National Park, it is a Ramsar site located in Odisha and India's second largest mangrove ecosystem after the Sundarban. Means it is the second largest mangrove after Sundarban. It is essentially a network of creeks and canals which are inundated with water from rivers Brahmani, Baitarani, Dharma and Patasala. It is home to the largest congregation of saltwater crocodile along with the water monitor lizard, python, hyenas, etc. About crocodile, it is given about the saltwater crocodile. Okay, crocodile are both saltwater and warm water. The first thing is given about crocodile is crocodile are largest surviving species of the vertebrate class Reptilia. Actually, we know that according to the Whitaker classification in vertebrates there are 5 classification. First is Pisces, second is amphibians, third is reptile, fourth is apes and fifth is mammal. Next is about habitat. Except for one saltwater species, crocodile live mainly in the freshwater swamp lakes and rivers. Behavior is nocturnal animals and are poikilothermic. What is poikilothermic? Poikilothermic means regulate their body temperature only to a limited degree. Means they are not warm blooded, they are actually cold blooded species. So they can regulate their body temperature up to a limited degree. Next is about the gharial. Protected status CR is given. This is critically endangered. Habitat is inhabit freshwater river Chambal, Girwa, Ghagra, Son, Gandak. Characteristic name gharial due to the bulbous knob at the end of their long narrow snout. Primarily eats fish. Let's look into a question asked in 2017 UPSC. The question is, if you want to see gharials in their natural habitat, which of the following is the best place to visit? Vitarkanika Mangrove, Chambal River, Pulicat Lake or Deep Boreville? This is Chambal River. Chambal River is the best place to visit. Next is Funga, recognition and conservation. This is fungi foundation through UN Biodiversity urged people globally to use word funga whenever they say flora and fauna as a part of the trinity of life on earth. Actually, there is too much concern about the fungi. Actually, when we talk about the flora and fauna, then fungi is always missing, because according to the Whitaker classification, there is 5 kingdoms, that is Monera, Protista, fungi, then Plantia and Animalia, and we usually talk about the flora and fauna, but we never use the word funga. So they are calling, like, use the word funga for fungi. So about funga or fungi, this is meaning here given is refers to the level of diversity of the fungi in any given place. Fungi is one of the 5 kingdom in the classification of organism given by R.H. Whitaker, where it vary from the single cell organism to complex multicellular organism. It means fungi are either unicellular or multicellular. Like yeast is an example of unicellular fungi, and remaining like mushroom, all these are this multicellular fungi. From tropical, temperate to arctic regions in both terrestrial and aquatic ecosystem, they are found in all the places. The characteristic is have a cell wall with chitin. Actually, their cell wall have both cellulose as well as chitin, but mainly consists of chitin. Okay. It is the mode of nutrition is heterotrophic. Heterotrophic means it is either saprophytic or parasitic. Saprophytes, decomposers, all these words are used for fungi. Body organization we have already seen, that is multicellular loose tissue. Next is, what is the significance of fungi? This is mycorrhizal, mutual beneficial association with the roots of the plant for the tree growth. This is mycorrhiza. Mycorrhiza is also used in biofertilizer. This is the symbiotic relationship between the plant and the fungi. Next, we can call it as a carbon reservoir because it stores carbon. Decomposition and nutrient cycle. It acts as the decomposers, converting debris to the humus. Next, see more detail. This is mycoremediation. What is the study of fungi? That is called mycology. The study of fungi is known as mycology. Whenever you will see the word myco, it is related with the fungi. So here it is written myco remediation. Myco means fungi, remediation means cleaning. So it is used in the cleaning process, like assist in the degradation of the contamination such as plastic. So plastic contamination can also be cured by the use of this fungi. That process is called mycoremediation. It is used as medicine as antibiotic, penicillin, and potential psychotherapeutic, psilocybin, etc. We all know that the penicillin is the first antibiotic made from the fungus penicillium. That means first antibiotic is made from the penicillium fungi by the Alexander Fleming. Next is focus on the international organization, IUCN Species Survival Commission, Fungal Conservation Committee, Global Fungal Red List Initiative. Chile is only country that considers fungi in its law of conservation. Okay, Chile is the only country, you should know this, Chile is the only country that considers fungi in its law of conservation. Next is, this is given like different flora, fauna and fungi kingdom. Of course it is fungi, we talked about this. Example is mushroom, mold, yeast, all these are examples. For the reproduction they use spores, or they are having the asexual type of reproduction. Next is in role in ecosystem, they are actually decomposers. Coming to the one question asked in UPSC 2023, consider the following statement. First statement is, some mushroom have medicinal properties. This statement is correct. Some mushroom have the psychoactive properties. This is also correct. Some mushroom have insecticidal properties. This is also correct. Some mushroom have the bioluminescent properties, means it glows. This is also correct. So all the four are correct. This is question number 7, I think. Okay, this is question number 7. See, next is about the world's network of the Biosphere Reserve. UN, Education, Scientific and the Cultural Organization, that is UNESCO, added 11 new biological Biosphere Reserve from countries Cambodia, etc. under the Man and Biosphere program. This is MAP program, Man and Biosphere program. India is actually, India is having the 18 biosphere reserve, but not all comes under the map. Only 12 are recognized under it. So let's see in the detail. It is actually MAP program, Man and Biosphere program, launched in 1971 as an intergovernmental scientific program, establish a scientific basis for enhancement relationship between the people and environment. This Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve was the first to be recognized. You should remember, out of 18 biosphere reserves in India, 12 are recognized under it, and Nilgiri is the first, we have already talked. Next is about the Biosphere Reserve. It is in situ conservation, means the plants or this animal species we want to conserve in the same area where it is actually originated. The areas representing diverse natural and the cultural landscape across terrestrial, coastal and the marine ecosystem. It consists of the three main zones, that is core zone, buffer zone and terrestrial zone. Here I have attached a diagram. This is related with this core zone. The main area is here the core zone. The other area is buffer zone, where means in the core zone no human activity is allowed. In the buffer zone, for tourism, grazing of animals, this is allowed. In transition zone also there is some limitations. So here it is written, core areas is strictly prohibited zone, buffer zone used for the activities compatible with the sound ecological practices that can reinforce scientific research. Transition areas, communities foster social, cultural and ecological sustainable activities. This is written. Next, biosphere reserves in India. You should remember all the bio reserve. It is written here. Cold desert in Himachal Pradesh, Nanda Devi in this Uttarakhand, Kutch, Gujarat, Panna, Madhya Pradesh, Panchmari in Madhya Pradesh, Achanakmar and Amarkantak in Chhattisgarh, Nilgiri in the Tamil Nadu, Agastya Malay in Kerala, Gulf of Mannar in Tamil Nadu, Great Nicobar in Nicobar Island, Sesachalam Hills in Andhra Pradesh, Simlipal in Odisha, Sundarban West Bengal, Nokrek in this Meghalaya, Dihang Dabang in Arunachal Pradesh, Dibru Sikhoy in Assam, Manas in Assam, Kanchenjunga in Sikkim. Most of them has already been asked by UPSC. You should remember all the list. Next is eco-sensitive areas. What is eco-sensitive areas and why it is in news? First thing, Karnataka government rejected the Kasturi Rangan committee. This is important. Kasturi Rangan, they have already asked Kasturi Rangan committee report on the protection of fragile Western Ghat region from the environmental degradation. So what is the Kasturi Rangan committee report? This is for the protection of the Western Ghat regions from the environmental degradation. What is this Kasturi Rangan committee? It proposes 37% of the total area of the Western Ghat, which is roughly around the 60,000 kilometers, as eco-sensitive areas. Out of the total area proposed by eco-sensitive areas, maximum is in the Karnataka, followed by the Maharashtra. So the decision came from the Karnataka government, which is having the maximum number of eco-sensitive area. Eco-sensitive area or zone, it is defined as the areas or zone with identified environmental resources having incompatible value, requiring special attention for their conservation because of its landscape, wildlife, biodiversity, historical and the natural values. National Environment Policy of 2006, notified by the central government under the Environmental Protection Act of 1986. Purpose is to protect the environment and avoid its degradation due to the anthropogenic activities. It is to create a kind of barrier or the shock absorber for the specialized ecosystem, means to protect the core ecosystem. It will act as a shock absorber, it acts as the transition zones from the area of higher protection to areas involved in the lesser protection. Okay, activities of eco-sensitive zones are generally regulated and not prohibited in nature. These are regulated activities, not the prohibited natures. Next is eco-sensitive zone guidelines classify activities under three categories. First is prohibited, second is regulated, and third is permitted. What is prohibited here? Commercial mining, settling of industries which causes pollution is prohibited. What is regulated? Felling of trees, establishment of hotels and resorts is regulated, means with the permission you can establish hotels, resorts or can fell trees. What are the permitted here? Ongoing agriculture and horticulture practices by the local communities or dairy farming, these type of activities are of course permitted there. Next, about some fact is given about the Western Ghat. Western Ghat is important for UPSC exam. You just go through this and also you have to see the details of the Western Ghat, like what passes are there, Pal Ghat, Thal Ghat, Bor Ghat, where it connects. Elevation progressively increases from north to south. Forest, four major types is evergreen, semi-evergreen, moist deciduous and dry deciduous, mineral rich in the iron, manganese and the bauxite ore. Other key information, regional name is Sahyadri for Maharashtra, Nilgiri Hills is present in the Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, Annamalai Hills and the Cardamom Hills in the Kerala and Tamil Nadu. One of the world's 8 hottest hotspot of the biological diversity. It covers 6% of the land area of the India with more than 30% of all plants, fish, herpetofauna, bird and mammal species found in India. This is declared UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2012. Endemic species are Nilgiri Thar and the lion-tailed. Steps taken for protecting Western Ghat. First is Western Ghat Ecological Expert Panels, that is Madhav Gadgil Committee. Next is recommendation designing the entire region as eco-sensitive zone or eco-sensitive area. This is divided into 3 zones, that is very high sensitivity, high sensitivity and moderate sensitivity. High level working group headed by the Dr. K. Kasturi Rangan recommends the color coding of the industries, extending entry 20 economic planning of concurrent list to regulate the development with ecological framework. Next is 6th iteration of the draft notification of Western Ghat eco-sensitive areas. Next is Baramgiri Hill case. This is NGT. Ask Environment Ministry to finalize a deadline for declaring Western Ghats as an eco-sensitive zones. This question is asked in UPSC 2010. You can see, consider the following statements. The boundary of national park are defined by the legislation. Next is the Biosphere Reserve is declared to conserve a few specific species of flora and fauna. This is wrong. Biosphere Reserve is to completely conserve the area with all this flora and fauna. So statement 2 is wrong here. 2 is wrong here. Next, you have to check between 1 and 3. 3 is In wildlife sanctuary, limited biotic interference is permitted. This is correct again. Then what should be the answer? This is C. Now coming to the other related news. The first is about the Intergovernmental Platform on the Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services, that is IPBES. This is not very important, even though if you want to see, you can see established in Panama City 2012. It is independent intergovernment panel to strengthen the scientific policy interface of the biodiversity and ecosystem services. It is not an UN body. If you want to remember, just remember this is Intergovernmental Platform on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services is not a UN body, and India is part of this. Okay. Next is integrated development of wildlife habitats. Union Cabinet approved continuation of centrally sponsored scheme of integrated development of wildlife habitats for the 15th Finance Commission cycle. Centrally sponsored umbrella scheme by the Ministry of Environment. It supports the protected areas. Protected areas means national park, wildlife sanctuary, conservation reserve, community reserve. Not very important. People's Biodiversity Register. Actually, this Kerala recently published updated People's Biodiversity Register. Actually, what is People's Biodiversity Register? You should know this. The Biological Diversity Act, Biological Management Committee to prepare People Biodiversity Register in constitution with the local people. Actually, the knowledge of the local people will be used to document and the safeguard bioresource and associated knowledge. The knowledge of local community will be used. This is the availability and knowledge of local biological resources, their medicinal or any other uses, any other traditional knowledge associated with them. This is to support claims of local owner of biodiversity and traditional knowledge. It helps sustainable resource management. So this is good. This is about the People's Biological Register. This is actually to accumulate the traditional knowledge. Next is Environmental Performance Index 2024. This is just index, not very important. Estonia tops the list. India is from the bottom 4, like 180 countries. Out of 180 countries, India ranked 176. In 2022, India surpasses the China as the world's largest emitter of anthropogenic SO2. So India is progressing in the sense of pollution. Okay, pollution is increasing, and like sulfur dioxide, India became the world largest emitter of this sulfur dioxide. Next is the Nature Conservation Index. Okay, Nature Conservation Index, you should see just once. Not very important for exam. UPSC don't ask this type of question. Next is about the camels. Camel is always important because the UN declared 2024 as International Year of Camelids. This is member of the camel family to build awareness of untapped potential of camelids. There are two types of camel species. You should know camel is found in the Africa and Asia. Types is dromedary and Arabian camels, that is single hump, or Bactrian camel, which is two hump. Okay, domesticated by people, mammals, herbivores survive in the hot condition. Drought animals. Camels in India. State animal of Rajasthan is camel. This is Kharai camel. This is the type of camel. Kharai camel swims long distance, that is 3 km at time, in sea to eat the mangroves that is found in the Kutch. Here two types of camel is given. First is the Bactrian camel. Are found in the Ladakh, Nubra Valley. This is two-humped. Camel. Okay? Where this is second one is the dromedaries camel that are found in the hot desert of the Rajasthan and Gujarat. This is single humped. Okay? This is single humped. So we have completed our first topic. Next is about the forest. We will discuss forest in the next video. I hope you understood the topic. I have given some previous year questions of UPSC. Try to solve and answer in the comment box. Most of the questions I have already discussed. Even though if required, I will answer in the comment.